This segment of Delmarva Life is brought to you by Tidal Health.
The holiday season means gathering with loved ones, but during these days of COVID concerns, so many people want to know, good idea, bad idea?
Before you finalize your plans, listen up. The doc is in the house, and he's here to tell us where we stand today when it comes to COVID numbers and knowledge. Of course, Tidal Health Chief Quality Officer, Dr. Chris Snyder. Thanks for joining us this afternoon.
Thanks for having me.
So I'm almost afraid to ask because I'm afraid it's going to be something I don't necessarily want to hear. How are our COVID numbers?
Well, we never dropped below 25 really, so we're been up to as high as 50 again in the last couple weeks, so it's still here.
Yeah.
Friend for life, not going away at this point. So we kind of figured that though, so we'll see what happens. But similar population, still not a lot of change in the demographics of what's coming through the door. Yeah, volumes are definitely steady and still rising a bit. Yeah.
So who is getting sick?
There's a younger population, 40 to 60-year-olds. A lot of them are unvaccinated. They tend to get sicker. Remember, vaccine doesn't stop you from getting the illness. It just reduces the morbidity, mortality. So it reduces how sick you get with it, basically. That's the value of getting the vaccine. It really does prevent that. So, and we see that every day. So 90% of what we got coming through the door right now are unvaccinated. So unfortunately, the ones that are dying too are unvaccinated, but they usually have multiple illnesses or extremely elderly in most cases.
So vaccination is still the best way to go?
It is, absolutely. It's the primary preventative for COVID worsening, COVID morbidity.
And booster too?
Yes, yeah, the booster, they just have some early evidence around the Omicron, so it actually is effective against Omicron, so get that booster.
Yeah, and holiday plans, everyone probably hoping they can get together with family. Is there any piece of advice you can give folks at this point?
At this time of year, we're all inside. It's challenging. So again, the hand hygiene's huge. Washing your hands with any virus. Flu's going up too, by the way. So we're seeing a fair amount of flu, not hospitalized, but in the community. I heard this morning Delaware's had 80 plus cases already this year. So significant amount of flu, and a lot of that has to do with folks getting away from the aggressive hand hygiene and mask wearing we were doing last year.
Exactly. So I wanted to go back a little bit to vaccinations. I know that when you get the vaccination, it takes a little while for it to take hold.
A couple weeks.
So if you're unvaccinated and you want to get vaccinated before Christmas, is there any point or? Yeah,
absolutely. You build immunity right away, so it's a slow, steady rise of immune response. So the body will consistently build those antibodies with the vaccine. So yes, absolutely, get it sooner the better. And the booster, we're looking 6 months plus or minus a couple months as to the effectiveness of it. So, that's why we're telling you to get it at 6 months. So good news, the Omicron is really affecting younger population. It's more virulent, meaning spreads quicker, but the folks aren't as sick with it either. So it's similar to what Delta did originally. So and 99% of what we're seeing now is all Delta virus. So the alpha is gone.
So with the, let's say you don't get your vaccination, you wind up being diagnosed with COVID, you seem to recover from that okay, and they're saying that you don't necessarily need to get vaccinated if you've been diagnosed with COVID, is that right?
No, that's a booster to the natural immunity. So your body gets a natural immunity automatically. You get antibodies from the infection. So once you get through the infection, they're recommending 2 weeks after your symptoms are gone to get vaccinated as a booster. Because it will prevent for 6 months then. So we're not sure how long natural immunity lasts. The early studies are showing it's a little less immunity than what you get with the vaccine. The vaccine definitely has a higher immune response. So, and that's early trials. Again, there's so much science around this. It's absolutely exhausting keeping up with it. So, I can tell you, Tidal Health, we're spending a huge amount of time discussing this. Our leaders and scientists are all doing what they have to do to keep us up to speed.
And I think at least in our house, Christmas time is when the grandparents are hanging out with the younger folks, the 20-somethings. So it's very important to protect the grandparents with a vaccine.
Yeah, absolutely.
booster?
Hand hygiene is so huge. I
Yeah.
mean, I can't tell you how much, we've talked about this, how long?
Yeah.
Even before.
Oh, well, it's healthcare. So, I mean, we've always said, you know, washing your hands, we're better at it, and the community hopefully continues that. The masking, when you're in enclosed spaces, you really just have to use that social distancing as best as possible. You know, babies are getting sick right now. It's a normal time of year. Everybody gets flu and bugs this time of year. So there's a lot of challenges with figuring out what's what. But don't be hesitant. Go get your vaccine or get your COVID test if you're symptomatic. Make sure you're protecting everybody.
Listen, before we let you go, would you please tell your nurses and staff thank you for everything they're still doing, because we know that they are still bearing through all of this, and how much we appreciate it.
Absolutely, yeah, sure will, and you know, we appreciate the community stepping up and tolerating our challenges that we're dealing with, because ER is swamped. So we're not only are our volumes of COVID high, but volumes of normal illness is there too. Our community's growing, so the hospitals are doing a bang-up job trying to get people through there.
Great job. Great job.
Tidal Health's Dr. Chris Snyder, thank you so much, and have a Merry Christmas.
Yeah, you all too.
Stay
Great
safe.
seeing you.